Welcome back to Masters at Luxury. I want to talk with you now about your luxury brand because your brand is something that is at the nucleus of everything you do. If you're creating a luxury brand, you want people to understand what your brand stands for. And you want them to be attracted to your brand, and you want to be able to make that brand successful. Now, many folks, when they create a luxury brand, they think the brand just relates to the product, the image, the logo, the name, and these things are all very, very important. But without establishing what your brand stands for, what you'll be remembered for, you don't have a luxury brand. So, one of the first things I want you to think about when it comes to becoming a master at luxury selling is how you can represent your brand on a daily basis and what it stands for, because that's what you're selling. You're selling an idea that's going to be in the minds of your customers that they're going to relate to. Now, this can be tricky because what your customer thinks your brand is might be very different than what you think it is. So, for example, you might think of a handbag that you're offering as being well made and well crafted and beautiful in its design. Whereas your customer might think it's prestigious and it says something about them when they have it. You might think that an automobile that you sell has great performance and that it is beautifully designed, it has great lines. Whereas the person who buys it might think that, hey, it's a step up from what they had before, or it puts them in a particular league. So you have to do some probing about your brand to understand what does it stand for in my mind, the person who's creating it, the person who's building it, the person who's marketing it, and what does it stand for in the context of the person who's buying it. Now, here's another important thing about branding, and that is that you're always reinforcing or altering your brand. Now, this is very tricky because once you decide what it stands for and what your customers care about, you have to be sure that you're reinforcing that on an ongoing basis because you can chip away at your brand without knowing it. So, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to take out a sheet of paper or take out your smartphone or take out whatever device you're using, whether it's an iPad or some kind of document, and I want you to write down what your brand represents. What does it do? Why does it matter? What's the value of it? How do people perceive it? What are the words associated with your brand that will reinforce those ideas with your customer? How do you reinforce that day to day? And once you think about that brand and you have a fix on what that is, then we can go about developing the right sales and marketing strategy and making sure that you're on point. So, first step, think about your luxury brand. Think about what you want it to represent. What's behind it? What is it comprised of? And the next thing we're going to talk about is how that moves into your decision making as it relates to your luxury business.